Hello everybody, I hope you're all okay and you all had a good half term. Now today I am here to read chapter 6 of our Planet Omar book to you. Just take the next couple of minutes just to either speak to an adult or think to yourself about what happened in chapter 5, because that might help you with some of your learning this week. So, chapter 6. The thought of getting into the car made my tummy feel like we were hopping about in it, just waiting to leap up my throat. So, I took a deep breath and imagined a better way to get to school. Super awesome, magnificent dragon. I could see him there now, just hovering beside our car and looking at me with a smile. He made me feel better about everything. The dragon bowed his head and flung open the car door for me, which made me laugh out loud. "What's so funny, Omar?" Mum asked, one hand still on the handle of the car door. But I just shook my head and buttoned my lips. My mum never really understands about how to imagine things properly, so there was no point explaining. I guess it's the kind of thing grown-ups forget how to do. So I just stared at the dragon's blue and green shimmery scales and long swooping tail. As I strapped myself in, I wondered what it would be like to ride him to school instead of driving. He'd fly at least 120 miles per hour. He looked at me with his almond-shaped eyes and let out a puff of steam from his tiny nostrils. I imagined him riding alongside us all the way to school. When we got out and walked to the gate, I made him breathe out a huge plume of smoke. And in my head I said, I pronounce the H2O as if I were a king or something. I thought that was a good name for him because steam is made from water and H2O is the chemical name for water. That's the kind of sciencey thing my parents love to talk about. So there I was, the new kid in my class. I was petrified and my lungs were still doing that funny thing. I made them feel better by imagining H2O being silly at the window. Then he put bits of popcorn in each of his nostrils and blew them out. The teacher, who was called Mrs. Hutchinson, introduced me to the class. She was what my mum would call a pear-shaped person. I liked her hair from the first time I saw her, and later learned that the springy auburn curls reacted to her mood and told the story of her day. When she was happy, those curls were happy. They would bounce merrily out of her head like beams of sunshine. When she was tired, they would flop down lazily on her cheeks, and when she was cross, they looked like they were a twisty metal part of a drill. Sometimes when she was angry, I would imagine a drill-headed Mrs. Hutchinson making a big hole in the wall quite easily. She asked me to sit down next to a red-headed kid called Charlie. Charlie had lots of freckles all over his face. Thick-rimmed glasses. I thought he looked cool, so I smiled at him. He smiled back at me. He was missing one of his front teeth. Charlie told me that school was okay. The lessons were okay. The playground was okay when it wasn't wet. And Mrs. Hutchinson's class was mostly filled with okay kids. Except for Daniel. I decided that okay was Charlie's favourite word. Daniel is the one who you have to look out for, okay? Just stay out of his way, okay, I said. About all the times my mum had told me to stay away from something, which seemed to make me drawn towards it like a magnet instead. Just like when I had just had to open Miriam's secret box because I was told I wasn't allowed to. And when I did, a gazillion teeny tiny beads came pouring out all over her bedroom floor just as she walked in. I gulped. Is the end of chapter 6. I hope you liked it and I hope you're enjoying the book. I quite like it. So you can use this video for the rest of the week because you're going to have some guided reading activities, so you might need to predict, you might need to use some of the text to help you. Okay, have fun, see you later, bye.